Scarlet convinces Alex to try out her healthy and delicious dog treats. He places an order for his pet store, but a vicious competitor, Paul, tries to prevent her from expanding into other stores. Scarlet is working on a new dog treat that she makes her dog, Bella, try out. Bella seems to love it, and Scarlet assures her it's good for health too. She comes to visit her dad, Jack Townsend. She pets his dog, Maggie, who is pregnant and due in a few weeks. Jack feels the puppies like the twinkle ball she came up with. Scarlet asks him to ignore that, because her new treat is a gold mine. She makes all the puppies try it, and shows her dad the recipe. He thinks she has finally cracked it, and she needs to get this out in the stores. Scarlet brings the recipe for the healthiest and delicious dog treats to Gina. She asks for her help to get it out in the market. Gina remembers how bad her last 2 pitches went. She's also carrying all the products in her store that Scarlet couldn't sell. Gina still trusts Scarlet after her last venture for pet cuisine was a disaster. Scarlet wants to try her treats on Gina's dogs, Baxter and Tilly. Scarlet begs for Gina's help because she's a branding genius. Gina agrees to help only if her dogs love the treat. When she makes them try it, they keep coming back for more. Gina tries to come up with a name that seems tasty and nutritious. She shows Scarlet the new packaging for Pup's Palate, and they decide to pitch the product to different stores. The store managers feel the packaging and name are appealing, but everyone rejects them. The biggest issue is that they're competing against Pup Chuck, which is a leading brand with a sales history that is dominating stores. Scarlet and Gina know their dogs don't even like Pup Chuck. Gina still thinks this is progress, because she feels Scarlet's product is much better. Gina encourages Scarlet to keep trying till something hits. They had a hard day with a lot of rejections, but Gina's husband, Matt, still sent over some wine. They toast to their efforts, and Scarlet thinks Gina has a great husband. Gina has some ideas about their pitch, and remembers that they missed one store. Paws and Wellness Emporium is relatively new and opened last year. They're already expanding nationwide, and Gina thinks it's worth a try. She reminds Scarlet that it takes just one yes to get back in business. They head to the store, and Scarlet is already impressed with a dog mascot named Duke. They ask for the general manager, Alex Paulson, for their meeting. When an employee, Benny, points him out, Scarlet and Gina are speechless about how good-looking he is. Gina knows Scarlet is nervous, who even knocks out a huge bird seed display. While Benny prepares for cleanup, Scarlet starts apologizing to Alex. She offers to pay for it, but it's against his policy. Gina and Scarlet love how generous he is and introduce themselves. Gina notices the looks they're sharing with each other, and Scarlet even takes off a bird seed from his hair. Alex calls them to his office to discuss their product. Their pitch explains that unlike Pup Chuck, there is nothing artificial in Pup's Palate. They assure highest quality ingredients to promote strong bone and muscle growth, strengthen eyesight, and aid in brain development. Scarlet assures him the products have been test-marketed and dogs love them. She proudly claims it's being carried in Chew That, which happens to be Gina's store. Alex is impressed with the product, but Scarlet assumes he will reject them because they don't have a sales history. Alex clarifies that he wants to try out the treat with his own puppy, Mosey, before he considers placing an order. The girls are very excited, and Gina decides to leave before he changes his mind. Pup Chuck's director of sales, Paul Frasca, gets a quarterly report from his assistant. Paul wants to boost the profit margin and asks about glucosamine. His assistant looks it up and finds that it's a nutrient to support joint health. Paul asks him to get rid of it since it costs too much. He doesn't care about dog health because their priority is boosting the profit margins. Paul asks him to prepare another report. He wants to reduce the amount of food in their bags by 2 or 3%, but continue to increase pricing. They are sure that will fatten up the profit margin and feel great about it. Alex makes Mosey try Scarlet's treat, and he loves it. He notices a lot of Pup Chuck boxes in his store and calls Scarlet. He informs her that Mosey loves her treats, and he wants to place an order. In her excitement, Scarlet promises to deliver 100 boxes the next day. Gina thinks she should have asked more time, but Scarlet wanted to sound confident. They realize they are a real company now because of this order. They start planning about getting more staff and equipment. Gina has noticed sparks between Alex and Scarlet and is sure he likes her. Scarlet is embarrassed about what she did with the bird seed and admits he is sort of good looking. Scarlet feels he must be the kind who has a lot of girlfriends. Gina thinks she shouldn't judge so soon, especially since Alex was very polite and friendly with them. He's also different from Scarlet's ex, Jeremy, who was unemployed. She wants Scarlet to admit she never makes a decent choice in men. She has seen Scarlet reject nice men for the wrong ones. She asks Scarlet to take a chance, and feels she might find true love. Scarlet's treats start flying off the shelves while Benny and Alex celebrate. Scarlet gets nervous when Alex asks her for coffee and claims it's a date. Gina reminds Scarlet she also met Matt at a coffee shop for her first date. Gina thought it was romantic when she realized Matt was genuinely interested in her. He looked at her like no one else existed and kept focusing on her. He didn't even check his phone and told her later that he always knew she was the girl of his dreams. Scarlet also admits what they have is special. Gina asks Scarlet to never settle for anything but the best. Scarlet brags about being an Illinois state record holder for the longest unicycle ride ever. She rode when she was just 16, and her friends thought she was crazy. But she was happier about raising $17,000 for the animal shelter. Scarlet claims if something is unusual, and most people don't do it, she wants to. She wonders how they got to this subject, and Alex claims he's genuinely interested in her. He also ignores his call to continue the conversation. He wants to double what he ordered last time from her. He claims he's doing this because he wants to supply the best product to his customers. He offers to speak to their regional manager, Michelle, to ask if she can hear Scarlet's pitch. Alex plans to go rock climbing after their meeting. It keeps his mind off things and helps him be more present. Scarlet claims she likes to work out earlier in the day so she can dedicate the rest of the time to work, even on weekends. She feels it's the only way for businesses to stay ahead. He invites her for rock climbing, and she agrees to take a few hours off. He even goes camping, hiking and fishing very often to detach himself for a while. Scarlet feels like she would panic if she stays away from work for too long. He believes in work-life balance and feels she might even find inspiration for her creativity in nature. He shows her a demonstration of how to climb and come back down. He instructs her when it's her chance and claims he has her back if she falls. He feels rock climbing is all about trusting your partner. Scarlet tries it next and easily reaches the top. He encourages her to push the wall off her feet and completely trust him. Michelle touches up her look quickly before Alex comes in. He informs her about Pup's palette and praises the women behind the business. He asks Michelle to hear their pitch, and she instantly agrees to, just for him. She also asks why he has been so distant lately. Alex remembers them agreeing they will step back from their relationship for their friendship and work. Michelle remembers they had a good thing going and doesn't feel the end was too definitive. She asks him to have dinner with her to discuss this. She is not ready to move on, but will understand if he is. Scarlet brings more treats for Jack and informs him about Alex doubling the order. She discusses expansion and is sure this business will take off. Maggie has been very lethargic these days, so she decides to meet her. Scarlet knows giving birth might be too much on her, but feels the puppies will bring them all a lot of joy. Alex brings him to the dog park, where he finds Scarlet sketching something. He shows her who Mosey is, and Scarlet knows Alex got him from Picket Fence Puppies. She explains that her dad owns it, and she even remembers when Mosey was born. She designed the dog park they're sitting in, and plans to expand in spring. She also invented 27 new dog toys and accessories, some of which are patent pending. Alex is impressed by her hard work for the pet world. They watch as Bella and Mosey get along, who are from the same litter, but have different parents. Alex informs her about the pitch meeting with Michelle, and she hugs him. He doesn't have a proper excuse to ask her out now, but she agrees to come along. They watch a move outdoors with Bella and Mosey. Alex's parents used to come to the park when he was a child. Scarlet starts texting her supplier, but Alex asks her to not miss the movie. He feels she needs to try some work-life balance. Jack calls Scarlet about an issue with Maggie. Dr. Mitchell knows the pregnancy is tough on Maggie because she's having 10 babies. Michelle loves Pup's palette and thinks a new brand will be good for the stores. She wants to start displaying it at 1/3 of their stores. She also feels Gina and Scarlet might be looking at a nationwide rollout soon. Michelle is glad Alex advocated a lot for their product. Gina claims they love Alex, but Scarlet goes overboard while describing she doesn't actually love Alex. Michelle informs Alex about already placing an order with them. She also reminds him about their dinner that night. Alex comes to Scarlet when she's getting new equipment for the orders. Alex gifts her a chef's hat and thinks she looks great in it. She invites him in to show him the operation. She is using her design studio and is just adding fans for ventilation and an industrial-scale kitchen. She has also planned for a packaging and assembly line, and all the ingredients are express shipped. She is sure they will have the capacity to fulfill their orders and keep growing. Alex is sure she will grow a lot and promises to be right beside her. She feels they should celebrate this and asks him out for dinner that night. Alex admits he has a prior obligation with Michelle. Scarlet is surprised they had a thing. Alex nervously claims they're just getting together to talk things through. He asks her for the next day, but Scarlet feels she will be busy with work. Michelle asks for Alex's opinion about the wine at dinner. She recently toured the vineyard in Napa and asks if they can do that together sometime. Alex clarifies that he prefers to rough it out in the outdoors instead. She feels what they have is really nice. Alex gets uncomfortable as he realizes she's talking about them. From his hesitation, Michelle knows he doesn't want to be tied down. She has seen the way women look at him, and he's still single. Alex tries to explain, but Michelle gets awkward. She feels bad for assuming there was something between them. Paul asks Michelle about Pup's Palette trying to occupy their turf. Michelle explains they're trying to make some room for the new brand to see how it goes. Paul doesn't want to let go of his shelf space, even if he still has vast majority. He wants every part of the stores to be his, and claims Pup Chuck is his bread and butter. Michelle knows he has no idea what is in the product. Paul admits he's a numbers guy, and is only concerned about the product selling well. Michelle tries to explain that customers need to see new products all the time, so they don't shift somewhere else. Paul reminds her that National Provisions, one of Michelle's largest suppliers, owns Pup Chuck. He suggests that the executives are not afraid to crush little stores. He threatens her about an anonymous tip-off to the FDA about some of her products. He knows that will result in products being taken off shelves, and her stores closing for months. Gina has left Matt in charge of her store, so she can help Scarlet with a huge order. Michelle comes to talk to Alex, but he assumes it's about their dinner. He admits he has feelings for someone else, and is not sure how she feels about him. He also wants to see where it goes with her. Michelle already knows he's talking about Scarlet, but wants to discuss business. She asks him to remove Pup's palette from the shelves, because they need to cater only to Pup Chuck. She insists they have a relationship with National Provisions that she can't afford to upset. Alex is worried about Scarlet and Gina leasing new equipment, and already fulfilling orders. He feels it's wrong, but Michelle points out a clause in the agreement. She knows it can still be voided within 72 hours of placing the order. She doesn't listen to Alex's protests, and wants to tell Scarlet herself. Scarlet shares with Gina how she asked Alex out to dinner. She knows he had another date with Michelle, even if he was vague about the details. Gina thinks he might be telling the truth, but Scarlet compares him to Jeremy. Gina doesn't think they're alike, because Alex was upfront about his dinner with Michelle. He doesn't strike Gina as a guy who dates a lot, but she understands why Scarlet is hesitant. She feels Scarlet is trusting, and takes people for their word, and that's how she should be. Scarlet admits she really likes him too, and wants to give it a try. She picks Michelle's call, and rushes to Alex's store. Alex claims he was about to come by after work to see her. Scarlet feels hurt, because she trusted him and thought he had her back. Alex claims he tried to stop it, but it's not in his hand. Scarlet reminds him that she needs to pay for all the equipment and the ingredients. She also needs to pay the salaries for the new people she hired. She taunts him and claims she at least keeps her word. Alex has a shipment emergency to deal with, and asks if they can discuss this the next day. He promises to figure something out. Gina and Jack find Scarlet sprawled on the grass. Gina unleashes the puppies to snap her out of it. When Scarlet is smiling again, Gina takes her for a jog. She feels all her best ideas come while she's running. Gina stops her in the middle and suggests they need to pivot. She knows they can still display their products outside Paws and Wellness Emporium. They can set up a booth and bring some of her dad's puppies for a taste test. She feels if the store witnesses them winning over the customers, they will be pressured to put Pup's palette back on shelves. Scarlet loves the idea, and already has a vision for their booth. They start handing out flyers and samples. They also share information about ways in which people can buy their products online. When Alex comes to check on them, Scarlet formally informs him about what they're trying to do. They want to show his store that it was a bad decision to remove them from the shelves. Alex doesn't think they're allowed to put the booth outside, but claims he won't stop them either. He is sure there's a conventional way to handle all this, but doesn't have ideas yet. Scarlet claims they can't wait around for something when they have bills to pay. Alex is impressed with the booth, and promises to get out of their way. Gina and Scarlet gather people for the taste test between Pup's palette and the leading brand. As Scarlet informs them about which bowl has which treat, Alex starts making a video. As the puppies rush out of their hiding place, they all attack the bowl with Pup's palette. Michelle's assistant informs her that Paul wants to speak to her. He has heard about an incident outside one of their stores, and is already on his way. Michelle calmly apologizes to Gina and Scarlet. She reminds them they're not permitted to sell their product outside the store. They claim they're only promoting their business, but Paul doesn't think they can do that without an event license. Scarlet has a license, but Michelle knows they need permission from corporate too. Alex arrives at the corporate office to meet the CEO, Lee Dunbar, for something urgent. His secretary doesn't have an open slot for him till 3 months. She still gives him his executive assistant's email, who can forward it to Lee. The cop reads out an ordinance that states they can't promote or sell items on private property without permission. He finds them, but Scarlet insists they're a startup and low on funds. She knows any extra expense will shut them down. They realize who Paul is, since he keeps gloating about shutting them down. Michelle claims she admires Scarlet's effort and the taste test. She shows Scarlet the video Alex sent her, and feels it saved him from getting heat because of their stunt. Scarlet's cards are maxed out because they have already spent a lot. They have some new online orders that day, but only for 7 boxes. Scarlet is hurt that Alex reported them. Gina assures her they can try to make it up with some orders. She also asks Scarlet to talk to Alex, but she refuses to pick up his call. Scarlet thinks anything between them is finished, and so is Pup's palate. Alex comes over to talk to Scarlet, and claims he wants to help. Scarlet feels bad about trusting him, and thinks he told Michelle to shut their booth down. Alex admits he sent her to video to send to the executives, but Scarlet is sure he only did it to save his reputation. He keeps denying it and tries to explain his side. She interrupts him and feels he doesn't want his work-life balance threatened by anything unconventional. She feels he needs to be more reliable if he wants to be successful. Alex lets this topic go because he knows she's just trying to start an argument. He feels if she wasn't so intense and obsessive about her work, she would get better results. She gets offended when he calls her obsessive, but he explains there's a different way to do things. She points out that her whole world is collapsing, and she can lose everything she has worked for. She also refuses to hear him out and feels she needs her own solution. She also suggests that Michelle must have rejected their order because she was jealous of her. As Alex gives Mosey a bath, Bella comes to wake Scarlet in the morning. She has run out of treats and only has an old bag of pup chuck. She puts it in her bowl, but Bella refuses to touch it. Scarlet understands why Bella hates it and takes her along to get some real food. Mosey also takes out a box of Pup's palate from the trash because he only wants that. Alex also tries to figure something out for him. Jack offers to give Scarlet a small loan to cover her expenses, but she feels it's her responsibility. She thinks she should have chosen a stable career path like an animal rights attorney. Jack knows she can't work for someone else and is a free spirit like her mother. He feels she's doing exactly what she should, and her talents align with her passion. He still asks her to go easier on herself and feels there are more things in life than work. He is proud of everything she has achieved, but he wants her to be happy. They hear Maggie and realize she has given birth to a lot of pups. They record the miracle and are proud of her. Benny informs Alex about a rumor that Pup Chuck is looking to sign an exclusive contract with Paws and Wellness Emporium. Duke was up at corporate and overheard Michelle talking to Paul. They were discussing a contract for Lee Dunbar at the executive meeting that week. Alex knows he can't let that happen and heads over to Jack's place. He reminds Jack he got Mosey from him and claims he wants to discuss Scarlet. Jack has heard a lot about Alex and knows she really likes him. He also thinks that she has changed a lot recently. As Scarlet drives up to Jack's house, she hears them discussing how hard it was for the fine on her booth. She hears Alex assuring Jack that he has submitted an appeal to get the fine waived. Alex claims he believes in Scarlet's product so much that he is willing to take it to the CEO. He tried to talk to Lee on the day her booth was shut down too. Jack also knows National Provisions have a monopoly on the shelf space. He doesn't know how Alex can convince his bosses to change their minds. Alex has an idea, but wants Jack's help since Scarlet is not talking to him. Alex assures Jack that his intentions are sincere, and he has never met anyone like Scarlet. She blushes as he discusses her beautiful glow and how he can't stop thinking about her. He hopes she can give him a chance to make it right. She steps out to suggest she might be willing to give him another chance. Alex apologizes for not being a better partner when she put so much faith in him. Scarlet also feels bad for taunting him about work-life balance. She knows she was emotional and jumped to conclusions. They both want another shot and claim to be all in on their relationship and work. He shares his idea of crashing the executive meeting with her. Alex approaches Lee's receptionist with Scarlet dressed as Duke. He claims he's there for the meeting, and it's very confidential. He gains her sympathy by making up a story about people replacing Duke with a ferret as the company mascot. Alex claims some executives called them secretly to the meeting and asks her to keep this quiet with the press sniffing around. She knows Duke is great with kids and agrees to let them go. Michelle finds Alex walking towards the conference room, but is unable to stop him. Lee asks Paul to discuss the latest proposal from Pup Chuck. Paul is desperate to get Lee's signature, but Alex and Scarlet crash the meeting. Scarlet hands out brochures with Pup's Palate's nutritional information, while Alex explains how this product outsold Pup Chuck 3-1 in his store. Lee wonders why it was pulled off the shelves, so they all look at Paul for an explanation. Gina gets a video of Jack's puppies loving Pup's Palate. Everyone in the conference room and outside gets access to the video. It has been posted by someone who came to Scarlet's booth that day. Paul claims he doesn't trust social media and rushes Lee to sign the contract. He tries to put some pressure about their long-term relationship. Paul is sure they can never get a higher retail profit margin with anything other than Pup Chuck. Lee agrees they won't, but he feels the health of puppies is more important. He feels Pup's Palate even smells great, and his dog, Dippy, runs all the way across the hall to get a treat from him. Lee is convinced about Pup's Palate and wants to give them a try. Paul taunts Alex and Scarlet for being clever, but he is sure no one can take them off shelves. Scarlet gives him her card in case he needs to contact her. As they get back in production, Scarlet feels like this is a dream come true. Alex loves that she's the rare business person who cares more about what's right than profit. After he leaves to deliver some items, Paul comes to their store. He congratulates Scarlet and Gina for their success and starts buttering them up. He takes out a business purchase agreement to acquire Pup's Palate. He offers to pay a huge amount, which he claims is fair because of the popularity of their product. He asks them to not bother about other legal details of the contract. He explains he will get full control of their business after they sign it. Scarlet is curious if this means he can change the name and recipe when he acquires it. Paul subtly admits they can make whatever changes they want to boost their profit margin. Scarlet hands back the contract and refuses to sell to someone who cares about profit more than puppies. 6 months later, Scarlet is working on a natural colored dye for Put Fur when Alex comes to get her. They are now engaged, and he takes her to Paws and Wellness, which is clearly dominated with Pup's Palate. A small section is still dedicated to Pup Chuck. Benny assures them he will take care of the work and asks them to enjoy. While camping with Bella and Mosi, Alex brings Scarlet a glass of wine and kisses her.